explain our dilemma? Okay. Join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I was at a meeting one time. They asked me to pledge my state flag, and I thought, I don't know why I remember how to say it. Until that time, I was going to say that too, and then everybody was favored. Although I got a little confused and answered that. Rudy? All right. The meeting will please come to order. We have proof of posting in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code as amended, known as the Texas Open Meetings Act. We shall, she got a copy of this?
No, ma'am.
Not yet? Okay.
Well,
Any members of the public who wish to speak shall have 5 minutes. Anyone? Not that member today, right?
no, not
Not that
really.
member, all right. We'll go to item number 1, which is transfers and amendments.
JP 1 and 3. One of them was out, and one of them needed its capacitor. I can't remember if it's one, it's either 1 or 3, but it's in that building. New unit,
New.
AC.
a new,
She see where she put that shit. What she said.
We had 6 new cases. We had 12 cases in the last month. No, I don't think I've seen it. Budget transfers and amendments, any discussion?
I make a motion to just transfer them.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. We will now go to workshop. Now, the first bit of discussion, I think, will be on the tax rate. I have put into the little draft that we're looking at today the same amount that we had last year. Dan, would you like to discuss with us kind of where we are on getting our no new rate amounts and things?
Okay, things are a little behind this year, just the way the 25th fell on Sunday, so I wasn't getting a whole lot of stuff until yesterday. I did get from the appraisal district on the 23rd, on Friday, 24th, the certified appraisal roll, but my software provider is using a rate calculation software that's going to aid in the calculation of these rates, and they needed 72 hours from the time the comptroller released the new worksheets. The comptroller did not release the new worksheets until Friday also, and that had to do with the late session for the legislature. So they were making changes up to whenever they got out of session. The comptroller had to update their worksheets, and those worksheets need to go to a software provider to work out the kinks, and hopefully the comptroller has accurate worksheets. Last year they had errors in their own worksheets, so it's good to have the software provider look at them, make sure the kinks are worked out, and then I can get them and accurately calculate rates. But once I gather all the information, and I'm really waiting on one more report from my software provider that I have asked for yesterday and then again this morning. And I could possibly do some hand figuring without the aid of the software that does the calculations, which I don't mind doing in a preliminary sense, but I don't have those yet. But in the simplest sense, what I'm going to calculate is a rate that generates the same amount of money as last year, and then a rate that generates what they call a voter approval rate, which in the county's case is last year's budget plus a 3.5% increase. Anything over a 3.5% increase over last year's budget would have to go to the voters for approval. The commissioners can adopt any rate they want. There's just external controls from the people to vote it down if it exceeds what now under state law is 3.5%. So, you know, the rates are going to vary depending on what the values are and some other factors. I'm not sure if they're going to, the no new revenue rate, which would be the rate that allows you to collect the same amount of money as you did last year, could go up or down. I'm not real sure. I don't think it's going to fluctuate much because looking at the values, which is the biggest chunk of it, they didn't change a whole lot. So I don't think there'll be a lot of fluctuation, but you know, there are instances where rates could go down, you could collect the same amount of money, or the rates could go up and you could collect the same amount of money. But I think the key is that 3.5% increase, which anything over that will trigger an automatic rollback election. So that's where things can get kind of ugly.
We sure are gonna try to not get in that situation where we have to put it out.
But I am hoping to have.
It's additional expense and it's a lot more.
I don't see any reason right now why by Friday at the next meeting I won't have the rates calculated. You can have those to look at. I apologize I don't have them now, but you know, it's kind of out of my control.
Well, I appreciate you coming to tell us. I didn't remember what all the steps were, but I know that you know how you have to wait for one, do the next, to do the next, and so we're just a little bit, we're waiting on everybody, basically, is what we're doing.
And the other entities are too, so I appreciate the
Sure,
patience.
sure. If by chance you get that Thursday evening at whatever point, would you call and give that to me?
Sure, yes, I'll go over the whole.
That way we can kind of be prepared for Friday, if you can, but I know what you're saying.
I should be able to. I'd be surprised if I don't, but hopefully I will. So, but you know, I think you can still go forward with whatever discussions you have today without it's finalized.
Well, and that's why what I put in on the draft that we have today is exactly what we had as revenue for last year. So we'll just have to wait and see how that works out. Okay. Anything else?
No.
we can at least look at our sheets of what we've got at this point as far as requests and begin to talk about that. The budget that, the draft that we have for today to look at is based on just the base amounts that the normal, anything that is new and unusual is not on here. We'll be talking about those and adding to or taking away or whatever we need to do. So let's just start with the changes that we have for this. The DA's special fund is requesting out of the general fund $7,386.50 to cover payroll taxes. As I understand it, well, you can explain it better, but the DA gets funds from the state that he can use for whatever purpose for his office, and he uses that to supplement the payroll in his office. And so he's using those funds and wanting us then to cover the payroll taxes that have to do with those payroll increases. Brother, now, could he pay that out of his fund?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Now, we'll go in order, and anybody that wants to talk about any of this as we go along, fund, if you have what we gave you last time, the printout of last time of all the requests from everyone. That way, if you want to look at it, we'll go in order, and you can look at their sheet if you want to do that. Okay, and the first one is 420. And that is the treasurer. Jeannie, you said you need a printer?
I have it now. We were able to buy one,
Okay,
so it was bought out of this budget.
okay. That's what I was gonna suggest, is maybe we could work it out now.
What
All
the
right.
deal was is they were all on back order.
Yes.
So
Yes.
one was finally come available.
One time, okay, so we can mark that off, the printer part. She's also requesting to move the deputy treasurer to pay grade 5. I don't know if we have a schedule on those. I'll bring that Friday for you to look at the grades. I know we have the payroll printout that you had furnished us, but that is the request to move her deputy treasurer to pay grade 5. Anything else on yours that you wanted to talk about, Jeannie? I think I've been through this really.
No, I just explained that my conference isn't until September, so I haven't spent any of my conference money, but it will be spent in
Okay.
September,
All right,
as
and
long
I
as the
think
conference
You
goes.
can look at what's on this sheet, if there's anything that's on there. And also, as everybody's looking at theirs, if it looks like there's a mistake, there certainly could be, so bring it to my attention. Yeah. All right, and I didn't mention anything on my budget. I don't think that there's anything, basically any different than what we had last year. The auditor's office, that's 410. I just skipped right over her, sorry about that. 410. You can look at that, and the net data did increase a little bit, but we can help that. Another thing, this year, the auditor is going to be, have a change in the way that they handle the telephone and utilities. And you know what? We need to go back, and I need an amount for where we're going to do that 670. That's not in here, and I'm glad we talked about that. 670,
Yes.
believe the
it's
estimate
not-
put in
Yes.
for utilities and telephone. She's not going to break them down into the different departments.
Except for the jail and
Yes.
commissioners, if they're on.
Yeah. Y'all have to figure the rate to keep a prisoner for some of the things y'all do, is that right?
We have a, well, only for a price to house an inmate. Yeah, we have that.
But not out of county, but don't y'all have to figure something for the jail to show? Do you have?
We do it at some point.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why she's gonna leave the utilities and things budgeted in y'all's office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just so you'll have that already in the same spot, but the rest of them will just be in 670. So don't let me forget, we gotta put that in, that's gonna be a ton of money right there. And that. And then other than that, you can look at it and see if there are any questions.
There's pencil in on their courthouse, 640.440.
I'm sorry, what?
Under the telephone, 410, 440.
440, yes, that's why
There's pencil in
that's,
here on mine.
it's blank, isn't it?
It's blank, but then it says courthouse, 640.440.
Right, we're moving that expense to 640.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
640.
Okay.
640 instead of 670. And telephone also, right?
Yes.
The 640. Okay, okay. All right, then we'll go to 430, tax assessor collector. And he is asking for an increase. Would you talk to us about that?
Sure. I'll hit the points that I think are most relevant. Salaries, I am asking for a bump for all my employees. 3 of our 6 staff members are at the higher end date. One of them has a 4-year degree from Sam Houston. The other one has a 2-year degree from Rivera College. And I've been blessed with a very, very good staff. I've been able to hire some very good people to work for all of us. So I'm trying to get them up reasonably where I can. On the $239,783, that's just under the 2020 actual expenditures on salaries, since we've had people that have been here longer and were making more money due to pay raises they've gotten over the years have left. So it's higher than the 2021 budget, but it's in line with what 2 years ago and quite a bit less than 3 years ago, the 2019 actual. So I tried to fall in that range somewhere because although experienced people have left, people have had to assume those positions. So they're taking on that responsibility. They've done a great job. I couldn't be happier with the staff, and I want to do everything I can to retain them.
How many different people is that for raises?
All 6.
All 6?
Yes. It's what I figured was a 10% raise for each one of them.
10%.
But like I said, all but one have had to either been a new hire and have had to learn a whole lot, or had to learn a new position that was higher up. And the one exception is the one that has been there the longest, has been there almost 20 years, is I believe right at about the $30,000 range now after that much service. So I really felt it appropriate to bump her up as much as I could too. But it equates to a 10% raise for each one of them. I have that breakdown if you'd like. Longevity went down, FICA, Medicare, all that kind of stuff went down because of the younger employees and them making less than the previous employees. Leases ticked up just a little bit. I'm wanting to get one more auto machine. It's a little less than $400 for the year, which I think is nothing compared to how much service the county could get out of it. I've moved those auto machines to their individual desks. There's 4 clerks, so each one of them needed an auto machine. Before there was 3 auto machines that they would jump back and forth using, and I didn't feel that to be efficient. So I'm trying to get one more auto machine to speed up
Now, where would,
our turnaround.
and is that in leases and agreements?
Yes, ma'am, 430.
Okay.
The big Pritchard and Abbott, which does the property tax collections, they haven't changed their rate or their agreement. They said they might have to tick up a little bit next year, but so nothing changed on that big ticket item. And then conference, last year was $2,340. I well exceeded that by May of this year because of all the CEs I had to have by state law. I had to have 60 hours, and next year I'll have to have another 20 as a minimum. I'd like to do more than that, but I'm working towards a designation for professional county collector. But you know, that budget got wiped out just in what I had to have under state law, so I didn't get to go to the annual conference this year. There is an annual conference for my profession. I was asked by a lot of folks in there if I was going, and I told them I was not, to their disappointment. I would like the option of going next year. To be perfectly honest with y'all, I've done enough of these things for a lifetime, but there is some good that comes out of going to them, and the people you meet, and connections you make. So I increased my conference experience. So I'm hoping that I could cover my CEs that are required and then actually get to go to the annual conference. And I don't think there was any other significant changes. Yeah, that was pretty much anything that was worth discussing. Unless there's any questions.
If no questions at this time, then we'll go to the next one's 440. I have not seen anything saying that the conferences or that the dues have been raised, so I think that should be sufficient. 500 county court. Now, a lot of these, it's going to look like we didn't spend very much money this year, so why are we keeping it at that budgeted amount? But you know, we weren't able to have court and a lot of other things that we've been having. So our expenses hopefully are going up now because we're opening up and being able to take care of a lot of those things we need to take care of. Court reporting system, I put this under capital outlay. It's a recording type system. Right now for county court, anytime we need a court reporter, we have to call an independent court reporter to come. And if we had a court reporting system, then we could just automatically do it. There are probably some other things that we need to be having recorded, but we just don't because we don't want to have that additional expense. And they're not really that expensive, and I think they'll pay for themselves in probably a year. They'll pay for itself. Right now, our court reporting is about $500 every time we have to have them come. And it's like maybe half a day, maybe an hour. But anyway, I think 30 minutes. A lot of places have gone to that. We've looked at them for a year or two, and so I think that's something that we'll be talking about trying to get. And they're not that expensive. They're probably $5,000 or $6,000. And so, you know, in a year, it's going to pay for itself. And then we'll still have that to use, hopefully for years to come. All right, we go to Department 505. And that is the county clerk requesting a 5% raise across the board, asking for $19,000 in part-time. And we had down for the equipment, $1,000.
Well, that's just as needed. That's
Okay.
just because it was in there, I put it to just stay the
Okay.
same. There's nothing in particular that I need
Okay,
there.
okay. And then an increase in other expense. Would you like to talk about any of these, Linda?
I do feel that since my full-time employee has been depleted to take the election administrator position, my office is needing part-time help, and I'm asking that I get part-time help to try to suffice the office with all the duties we have. It's very hard to schedule anybody off. I have to run my office with 2 people in it because you have people sick or off. So I think the part-time is needed. I think Commissioner number 4 had mentioned, something about possibly putting part-time if we take positions away in either office, and I think it's a very good idea. it would help my office tremendously.
Okay. Now, and which fund is that, special fund
89.
89? Fund 89, I think you're asking
I
for
do.
39,000.
I have a part-time there, I can use them, we're doing a lot of in-house preservation and archiving records, probates, civils, and
Yeah.
criminal has been done.
All right, now the company that you hired to do the archiving, do they do probate in those?
They would do it, but it would be, I think, at a lot higher rate, yes. We scan in
You're doing
as,
some of it in-house.
yes ma'am, we're doing the old stuff. The very old, like every day, daily, we're already preserving and archiving as any documents come in. Any probate goes into net data, and so now we're taking all the old probates, we had to unfold them and lay them out over a few years and put them in acid-free folders in order for them to be able to be scanned into net data. So therefore, anyone that wants to search net data will be able to search any probate.
And what year are you on right now on that?
I don't know exact year because we've kind of done them by boxes as we've come across them and found them because they were just stored, and now we have them in order. We're on way back in the early 1900s, 1800s. Yes, very old ones.
All right. Any discussion on that?
After we paid that data, we all costs back.
Oh, my, a ton. For example, the financial program, which the treasurer and the auditor share, is like $12,000. And they also have it in the sheriff's department. They have it, I don't remember how much it is, it's about $11,000, I think, it's a lot. I'd have to get that to look at it, but we pay them a lot.
Just bought it over.
Yeah.
It looks like about 100,000, but the other softwares are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, all the softwares are pretty expensive regardless.
This is like
They
one
all
of the
inter-
cheapest ones we could
And
have.
they all interconnect, you know, like our office can look at the sheriff's department, like prison, jail, whatever. And we can look at the county clerks to see if, what information we need for appointing indigent attorneys, fees, and things. So it's pretty complicated system, but we did look, like we looked at, what was it, the software group? Were you here when we looked at that? And that was several years ago, and it was like 500,000 or something.
Yeah.
And
And
I know y'all
Tyler Technologies is a real popular one, but, and some of the different softwares that they have, but they are just, I mean, there's several softwares out there, but they are so expensive.
Y'all see them at your conferences, don't you? Pay attention to this, if we need to look at something, because I know, they do a good job for us.
Which NetData has bought out a new software also, and they told me within 5 years, they're gonna try to convert everybody over to that one. So that we could possibly potentially have a software change coming up in the next 5 years anyway.
Now, the JPs use Hilton. Right. And they have either been bought out or bought out somebody else or something, but
Yes.
they are, they're a separate type of software, specialized software. And what is theirs, about 4,000 a year for each JP? Is it $300 a month for each JP?
For each, yes, it's gonna be starting October of next year.
Yes.
It'll be $360 a month for each one of them.
Yeah.
Right now, it's about $3,000 a year for each one, but it's gonna go up.
Yeah. But, I think they have all of their tickets and all of that. And that goes on automatically on Omni, so that if people haven't paid, they can try to get them, however they do that. Anyway, that answered your question? All right. County 515. And I don't think there are any issues on there other than, you'll see he had put down 16,000 for leases and agreements, but actually it is a lot more than that for some other things that we didn't get. But, well, net data, for example, for DA's office is 16,000 basically. Well, but then they have a hot check thing there too, that's 5,000 more, so it's like 20,000, 23,000. That does most of that.
But 16.1 is not right, so it's actually 20.
Well, now, that's what he asked for, but that's not what I put in the new budget, is it? Who knows? Let's look. Okay, you're still looking at the request from the,
Yep.
but yes, on the draft budget, it says the 23. That's the kind of things we need to look at. Sure. Written something down. But I've tried to go back and look at the leases and agreements at least, and those kind of things that are set to be sure we have those, try to have those correct. So I don't know of any other discussion on that sheet, but that's why it went from 16 to 23. Next is 520. We
I
didn't use.
got a question on the
Yes.
the county salary supplement, that's what we pay out of the county. And we pay the state, pay the rest of it.
Yes. Okay. 520 is jurors, and we've not been able to have any jury trials really through all this COVID thing, so it's because we didn't use any last year and we didn't. But we're hoping that we'll be moving along with that too now. District Court, 525. You'll see there's a change in the amount of the jurors, because the jurors for the capital case will be paid out of a different spot where we have all of that budgeted. Isn't that right, Karen?
Well, I think we talked about putting a line item in there in that district court for those capital litigation expenses for the district court, the court reporters and the court coordinator
And put it in the district court
well,
or in the over where we have the capital litigation.
what we have capital litigation for the DA, and then we have that indigent defense capital litigation. Well, they don't really fall under there either.
Okay.
So I figure we could put it under district court.
Okay.
Expense line. Maybe I talked to Misty about that.
Okay, that'll be fine. We'll need to get that in there. And reduce some of the amount then that we have on that capital litigation for indigent.
Right.
Because, okay, so we'll just make that move.
Judge Grant, on the mental evaluations, it looks like on their sheet they wrote 10, and it looks like it's 1,000 on the draft, so I don't know if that's a typo or a.
Yeah.
You are so right. Thank you. And you never know, if you look back, 2019, we had none. 2020, we had 9,000. So it's difficult to
I think mental health is on the rise.
estimate. All right, so we will increase that. Thank you. Okay. Anything else on that one? We'll go to 530, probation. The only difference on those is we took out the telephone and utilities because that's part of our system, isn't it, Karen?
Yes.
535 district clerk. Let's not be in order here, hold on a minute. The wrong number on there. All right, district court. That's 535. District. My numbers are out of.
District clerk, 535.
530 is probation.
Page 14.
530. The next one I have is 535 district clerk. Yes, okay. I don't think there's any issue on that. We did add in net data, which is 11,110 for the district clerk. The next one is 542, 543, and 544, which are indigent defense. Fees. 542 now has the capital litigation on it. So when we,
Can we go back to that one on indigent defense? We spend $25,000.
we're still on indigent defense, yeah, I'm just talking around.
Do we spend $25,000 on attorney fees?
On which one, which number?
544.
544. Well, that is, the 25, we budgeted 30 last year, we've only spent 10. But we're gonna be catching up now on a lot of the cases we hadn't been able to have.
I'm just saying, but we budgeted $25,000 for attorney fees. Do we ever get any of that back from those people?
We do,
Yes. Yes.
We do.
and that shows up on the,
Revenue.
on the first sheet that, anybody that goes to probation, the probation department collects those fees. The fines, the court costs, and the attorney fees.
We get that grant too,
And we do get that grant, it helps.
indigent defense grant, which is about 20-something thousand a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I would say that probably on the felony side, we don't collect as many, because if a person goes to prison or whatever, they can't collect those fees from them. I doubt they ever come back and pay, but
Some do.
some do. Yeah, you worked up there, you know, some do, but I'd say a majority of them, but the majority don't collect, yeah. But misdemeanor, we probably collect a good percentage of that, because most of them go to probation and they collect on that one. Now, on that 542, you see we have capital litigation. We are budgeting the same amount that we budgeted last year and the year before of the $1 million. And we're budgeting that out of our fund balance. So that is not being used as a calculation and how much money we need to bring in to pay our expenses. Because, which is a good thing, because we got it and to budget it each time. There have been some expenses that we've had to pay, a lot of mental evaluations, a lot of expert witness stuff, but we haven't spent very much of that. But when it finally does come, if we have a trial, and it's gonna cost a lot of money, because we're gonna have to do it in Bryan, and pay for everybody to be there, pay for the hotel rooms, the travel, and we do use for our defense attorneys. You know, we pay a fee every year to the Lubbock group that provides indigent defense in capital murder cases. So we have gotten our money's worth out of that. We pay about $7,000 or $8,000 a year, and the attorney fees are a lot, even though they haven't gone to court yet. But we'll move some of that from the capital litigation expense over to
The DA and the district court.
yes, yes. Okay. Good, Brent?
Well, we're discussing all this other extra, the sheriff has brought it to my attention that we don't have an interpreter line in the jail. It was done away with when,
Have a
Anderson.
line out for what?
interpreter.
Interpreter.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it to you a while back, but we need an interpreter for the arraignments, because the system that we were using was only for 911, so they quit allowing us to use it for interpretation in the back.
All right.
So,
How would we estimate how much we're gonna need for that? And I guess we would.
I think it's a monthly, I think it's a monthly fee. I think it's an actual service that you're buying a month.
Buying through,
I don't know.
I have no idea either.
great.
But it's an interpretation line that is needed for the arraignments,
Right.
if and when we, but
You mean for the magistrations?
Yes.
Not arraignments, magistrations. Can you give me any information on a service or anything like that? Who would we ask? Who do you know that has one?
I don't.
I would guess other sheriff's departments
Yes,
do.
well, they get it, yeah, that is who I contacted to try to find out who's supposed to be paying for it, because we need it, and,
I have an idea. You're going to school next week, maybe you can find some information for us.
okay.
From somebody that we can have a starting spot on.
And, you know, we were discussing, he brought up the OCA and having interpreters, but you have to make an appointment with them when you're gonna have court. And knowing that you're gonna have someone that can't speak English or understand English, so that's, I can't use that for magistrate. You don't ever know, and it's only available during the weekdays, not on the weekends, usually it's on the weekends.
I
so
know
we need it.
Tomas does the,
No.
No, I'm sorry, what?
I was just saying, I know we currently pay Tomas
Yeah, we're
Etrofea
talking,
for interpreting, so I didn't know if that was something that.
No, this is gonna have to be on a regular basis, so available. See what you can find out for me. Perfect, okay. You did mention it to me, but I didn't write it down, so I haven't forgotten. Thank you. All right, anything else on? We will go to JP1, who happens to be here. We've already talked about your hill country stuff. Oh, I want to come down and look, let's see what we need to do about that chair, so we can try to address that now, not wait until the budget thing. Is that the one in your courtroom?
Yes.
All right, do you want a black one, like office chair, or do you want a?
That's whatever, you can
Okay.
leave it that way.
I have a note, let's look at it, all right. What else? What else? You want to talk about anything? Okay. All right, well, you can see the next, these are JPs. The next four. They will have to have a training on this new system, and we've added to purchase services for the $850 for each of them for their training. Okay. 555 is highway patrol, and he is asking for an increase in the salary of the secretary there. You can leave, there are a bunch of attachments that he sent, and so we can review that. Constable, precinct 1 is here, and you have on yours for 561, I'm sorry, 561. It looks like you're asking for a $155 increase on your salary for the year.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I just now find out about the people, so.
Just what?
I said, I just now finding out about y'all having this meeting.
Oh. Constable Precinct 2 is asking for some expense money for various things. You have an attachment in that first packet that you got showing what they are requesting. It's 570, Sheriff. Let's move to that. 570. Now, the sheriff is requesting 2 cars, $117,000. And then a discussion on salary. Would you like to talk to us about that now, Sheriff? Yeah, but I'm just pronounced. Not for now, if you'd like to be looking at that while he's explaining it to us.
All right. We okay, as far as the sheriff's office goes, we only had a few, well, we have a few things that are going to increase, obviously, just because of the world we live in. Our gas, obviously, our fuel mileage is going to go up. Everybody's seeing the fuel prices going up. Another
And
one
let
of
me say, if you look on the budget there, we had 60,000 budgeted last year and 75 in there for this year.
that's what I wrote for this year.
Yes. It's already in there.
And then the only other, I think the other major thing change was going to be, oh, that's going to be on the jail side. Okay. So for the sheriff's side, that's about it. I am asking for 2 new vehicles. We have 2 2011s. Here's my mileage.
230, 280.
Oh, there you go. One of the 2011s has 230,000 miles. The other one has 280,000. So we are asking for 2 new patrol vehicles. I would also like for you guys to think about this. I know it's something that's not normally done, not here anyway. But last time we got vehicles, we didn't get them until halfway through our whole budget. And they're already telling us right now that if we were to wait, if we wait till
After July.
if we wait till after our budget, it's going to be at least March before we get them again. There was discussion that other counties have used whatever money's been left over in the budget, such as salary, wherever it might be, to go ahead and, if we were going to approve vehicles, to go ahead and give us the okay to approve vehicles. Therefore, we could get them ordered now, and we would get them much sooner than March, because everybody is going to be trying to order them all at the same time. Just something to, I mean, if we get them in March, July, or whenever we get them, then we get them then. But just something to think about if we want to get them early. if we want to try to get them earlier than that, because we went halfway through our budget last time before we ever even got new vehicles. And then I am requesting, a lot of our surrounding counties are looking at some serious pay increases. I would like the commissioners that have contacts in our surrounding counties to contact them, find out what they are looking at. The people I'm talking to are suggesting that increases from $5,000 to $7,000. That's a pretty significant increase across the board for their offices. Whether or not that's what they end up getting is another story, but that's why, if you have contacts, I would like for you to make those contacts and see what we're looking at, just to make sure that you're trying to help us stay up in a competitive way with these other departments. I put in $2,500 increase, and I did that for two reasons. One, we've gotten significant increases from you guys, thankfully, that were much needed for the last couple of years. One, for our jail staff and on our sheriff's side. But two, also I didn't want to ask for too much as far as at one time. I think the $2,500 is going to be a pretty good starting spot. I think depending on what Anderson and Limestone for sure and Leon are getting, I think that will help us to stay competitive out there with them. But again, if y'all find out something different, and I would like the respect to, go up on that if we need to on y'all's decision. At the same time, I want the $2,500 is what I'm asking for across the board for my office on both jail and sheriff's side. But at the same, and that's for the person that's working there now, and that's because I want to retain them. I am now down to I think my most senior jail staff person has been there 8 months now, outside of my jail administrator. They're not staying, especially when you got LCDC paying $19.25 an hour. So they're not staying, they're leaving. I just lost another one. I've been short all year in my jail staff for various reasons, but I'd like to retain these people. So I do want it to go on the person working. But at the same time, I would like to see the starting salary also raised, because obviously you got to keep up with the cost of living, and if I'm going to hire somebody to be able to survive on what we're paying, it needs to be on the starting salary as well. So it's kind of a twofold deal. I'm asking for roughly a $8,000 increase for myself. I'm asking for $60,000. 3 years ago, give or take $2,000 in population for 23 counties. The average salary for sheriff was $65,000 plus a vehicle or a vehicle allowance. Some of them even got other incentives as well added on top of that. So my salary at this time is $51,687.48 plus my vehicle. So I am looking at an increase to get to, I'm not even asking for what the average is, I'm asking for the 60,000. There's also, and there has been a 5% increase. I don't know if y'all keep up with the consumer price index, but there has been a 5% increase. They probably do. It's probably close to 6 at this point. But it's going up. The cost of living is unreal. At this point, it's still going up. So just that 5% alone is
that the consumer price index? Is that the
Yes.
Yes.
I think that excludes fuel and housing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because they're higher.
Right.
Yeah, because it would be higher.
Oh yeah, because it's a whole lot higher.
So you can't even count how much rents and
Yes.
Home prices have gone up in that.
But just the fact that the cost of living has gone to what it is now. Y'all see it around here, 1980 single wide mobile home on 5 acres will cost you $300,000. It's unbelievable. So we need to pay our people, you know, to be able to survive and live. And I've always been one to say that working for the county should be one of the most sought after jobs that we have in this county, is working for here, working for us, for the county itself. Other than that, I think that's my sheriff's side. Of course, we'll be around, so we can discuss that further. And also, I know y'all are looking into the American Rescue Plan, the $3.1 million that we'll be receiving. I've looked into it myself and got my own ideas on it, but we'll let y'all legal people determine that. I just know what I've been told. I think there's going to be a lot of use. I know there's a lot of stipulations to the money, but I think there's a lot of use in things that we're asking for that can be used for. Yes. So, and then I'd like for the, I'm trying to make sure I keep my jail and my sheriff's office separate. We need 2 new desks. We're literally holding 2 desks up in one of the offices down here with bricks and against the wall. So we need to get those, and those were desks that I had way back when I started. So so we need 2 new desks. So I have put in for that as well. I would like for us to look at the retirement again and see if maybe we can do a little better job for the employees as far as the retirement across the board. Wouldn't mind seeing that 2 to 1 again. Other than that, that's my sheriff's.
The match. The match.
Other than that, that's my sheriff's side.
Do you want to go ahead and talk about the jail?
Yes, ma'am.
I got a question on the sheriff.
Okay.
It's 37 on fuel. We spent 37,981, is that right?
And that was as of, what's the date where that's printed up on there?
Yeah, thank you, Trump.
That's today, that's the one you're looking at?
But that's the amount we spent, that's not what we have left. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Fuel, wasn't, okay, here, fuel. They spent 47. That's the actual 40.
Well, this got 37.
No, you're looking at, you're looking at the
Original one.
the original.
From June.
From June. From June, it was 37. And this is July, and it's 47.
Okay.
47. Oh, this is 2 months.
I'll be in this one.
Yep.
That's gonna put it up to about the 60.
Yeah,
But
right.
thinking that for the first 3 or 4 months, or 5 months, the gas was much cheaper than it is now. So if it's 37 to 47 now, what date was that, June or what?
3rd.
June the 3rd, and this, so it's been almost 2 months. We've got, the bills for July, so we've got July, August, and September, 3 more months to go on to this 47, because we've got July, August, and September, 3 more months.
I figure it's gonna be,
47.
I figure it's gonna be more than 60 before we go.
Hey,
Yeah, with 3 months left.
We got enough fuel, money and fuel to tank one more time down there too.
It's gonna be close to that 75. By the time we get all September, I'm afraid. if you want to go on to the jail, it's 642.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is page, well, you can write my 642.
I think for the most
I want to
part.
talk about the dispatch situation too,
Okay.
a little bit, when we finish this. All right, the jail is 642, that's page 39. Page 39. Go right ahead.
I think as far as our jail, we are, it's roughly the same. I am needing, a new desk in the jail. And obviously our jail supplies have still gone up, because of, all the cleaning and the sanitizing and everything that we're still doing due to COVID.
And there's one figure that's wrong on there, it says weapons. You requested 500.
500.
We have a little typo there, and I put 45 in it, so.
Yes, just 500.
Where's that at?
Weapons,
312?
312,
On today's sheet.
What is it supposed to be?
500. Let me see if there's anything.
We are in need of some chairs again. Obviously, Chief took care of us 4 years ago, when we got, he worked out a deal that got us some chairs, which I know some other county offices used as well. But we're in the process of making some seizures, so there's going to be a lot of chairs involved in that if we get it. So I left that out. We're hoping that we can get that taken care of through criminals.
Now, we're talking about dispatch. We were approached by the city to see if we would consider forming a joint dispatch, but I guess you'd say it's still in discussion, but just determining if we can save some money by doing a joint dispatch, and then we can have the right place to have that. So, anything else you can think of we need to say on that, Sheriff?
No, this has been something that's been kicked around for a couple of years now. There's some benefit to it, obviously. Communication would be much better. But it's something that has to be planned. It's something that we need to, as soon as possible, agree to, because it could take 1 year to 2 years to even get the funding to do that. From the state, from the hot
Get the money
calls.
straightened out.
Yes,
We can do
because
that.
they'll come in and do it, move everything, get everything set up for us, but they have to budget for it. So, once we approve it, then we have to let them know, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna combine, the 2 dispatches together, wherever we decide to put it, and then they'll come in and get everything set up, but they have to budget, they have to know how much it's gonna take, they have to budget for it, and sometimes that's a 2-year process.
When we purchased that building across the street where the county attorney's at, weren't we gonna use that building for it had some extra space in it, weren't we gonna use it for some other things other than just that one office?
Well, we thought there would be some extra space over there. They moved all of their records and everything, and they said they're pretty full. We go look.
I just wondered, I didn't know what was in it.
Well, what's
That
that?
was the reason we bought it, was to have other places so we can expand the courthouse.
What's, I know we still have offices here. I don't, well, actually, I don't guess we do, because they're getting all tore up right now.
We do have some open offices, but they really need to be repaired before we can move some people into those. I think we're kind of looking at, with us doing the master plan. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
This special meeting,
You can come in, we'd love to have you.
well, I just got.
Unless you say you're retiring, then don't come in.
I come in here to request a raise.
A raise, okay?
I've been here 6 years.
Yes?
I think it's about time to get a little raise.
All right. We'll talk about that again. Great.
So anyway, I'm not gonna retire.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay till I fall out.
All right.
Clyde Reed and Craig Oaks and the rest of them will let me stay.
Well, I bet they will. I appreciate what you do. I surely do.
I'll keep it straight. Hadn't had too much problem down
No, no.
there. One or two.
Anytime you work with the public, you're gonna have a little bit of problem. Sometimes lots of problem, but, all right, great.
Okay, that's all I got to say. Good to see all of you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Take care, Craig Oaks. Better vote for me, boy.
All right. What was I talking about before I got sidetracked?
The offices here in the courthouse.
Yes, you know, we're having a master plan done right now. And once we get that done, hopefully we can look at maybe requesting some emergency funding from the state to redo that and redo the outside. We're gonna be looking at that. Hopefully we can get that. And there's a lot, that those offices and then the outside are what we really are focusing on. The mortar, the windows, everything. Now we have some bad leaks in some places that we had a little trouble fixing. All right, what else? Next. We'll go back again. There. Well, we made a little change. We budgeted all of the health insurance in that 911 part. We try to keep all of that separate because we do get money from OPCOG to reimburse us for some of these 911 expenses. Have you heard if there's going to be any change in that amount of funding?
I have not heard of any changes.
Okay, thank you. In 575, care of prisoners, we know already that we're gonna be increasing $2. I've not the paperwork yet, but I think that's
$2
what
a person.
a person,
Yeah.
yeah. But we've kept our numbers pretty low, so,
Yes.
really, but we also have to consider that we are having some people at McLennan County, and they are more expensive there,
Yes.
so.
And we're looking at possible, well, I think we only have one there right now, two. Yes.
Special circumstances, we use them.
Yes. Yeah, only at Limestone, it's too much for them. But with, oh, and I don't know if y'all know, but Limestone's full.
Oh,
Yes. So, which means we've only got, heck, I bet we don't have that through. Well, no, we got a little room down here, so, but they are full. So, yeah.
maybe if we can get back to working in the court, we can get some of these people out here. But anyway, that's why, it looks, when you look at what we spent so far, which is 156, you would think, maybe we didn't need to budget 350, but,
You just never know.
with the increase, the $2 increase per person, and then possibly having to use some of those alternate places, I think we need to budget that in. But we certainly can talk about whatever y'all decide. $600 is the extension service. I don't know if there's anything there to talk about. 610, elections. A lot there maybe to talk about. I had asked Linda, when we got to this 610, if she would give me some kind of idea on where we would be on request on election expenses. So if you'll look that over and see if you believe that that's okay, you can let me know if you have a chance to look at it, Linda. Thank you.
Hey, Judge Grant, back on 600, that, is this where we need to talk about Erin's stuff, or, because let me think about it, because we're gonna have to fill that out for her salary, you know, with that agreement. There's,
Let's go back to 600 extension.
Yeah, you know what's right.
We did increase travel just a little bit, maybe not enough based on the gas situation. But I know, you know, some of the traveling that previously she was doing, you know, really looking at this, I think 10,000 is more than enough. Probably the 3,800, you know, some of the things were canceled, and so she didn't go to some of the kids' events that she normally went to. But gas is lower, and I think the main discussion was whether or not we would raise the amount that we were funding that. According to what she said, you know, it's always been the discussion about if we pay more, does that just make the state pay less? And so we were not wanting to be assisting the state anymore than we had to. She said that her people told her that if we increased it, that she would get that increase. But I've talked to someone that in extension, and they said they really won't tell you that, but it's still the way it used to be. If you increase it, it just decreases the amount that the state pays. So, and we tried to read some of that, and it looked to me like that some of the information that they put out, it doesn't seem to indicate that would increase her salary. So if y'all can give any better information on that, I'm certainly not opposed to her getting an increase, like the county people get an increase, but not if it's just going to help the state. It's not going to help her. It's my feeling. Whatever y'all. See if you can get some more information about that. If you know anybody that you can talk to, you know, the extension people always, we asked them several times, numerous times over the years, and they never would really give us a straight answer. And then we found out that that really doesn't help. They just are on a fixed salary. And it says you're hired in, and in 2 years you get a $1,500 raise, and in 2 years you get whatever, you get the normal things that the state gives, but it doesn't indicate that there would be anything that would benefit us. So if y'all know anybody, you can ask. We good. 620 capital outlay. I believe on the sheet that you have, maybe not. All right. We are going to try to get some benches for the halls up by the courtroom, and then a few replaced in actually the courtroom. And then also that court reporting equipment. We're going to need some. We'll be looking at possibly some expenses depending on what we do with elections and where we put that. Will be an issue, and then we still are going to owe money to the architect that's completing our master plan. So look over that, and we can visit that again. 6:30, health and.
Good.
All right, six-
Good.
Yeah.
If we skip 16,
16 is elections.
today?
Yes. You want to talk about it?
No, I didn't.
I asked Linda to look over it, maybe she could give us a little more input
Okay.
on what additional we'll need. I think probably we're going to need to address some more issues on that. All right, health and safety, health and welfare. I think we need to, we need to talk to about the emergency management coordinator. Where are we on that?
He's still training, he's still been taking classes.
Okay. Are we gonna budget that in, health and welfare? Or are we gonna budget that in the sheriff's office? So, currently he's doing, the health part and the sheriff's part. Is that right? Okay. When do you think he will start doing the emergency management stuff?
Well, I guess my first question is what does he need to do? As far as, I mean, because I'm still saying, I don't think he can do both. I don't think he's gonna continue to be able to do all this health stuff he's been doing. Y'all heard what he was doing. That was just his first 2 months. I mean,
So is he just gonna be a health and safety person and a deputy? Is that
well,
what
no,
you're saying?
that's y'all's decision how y'all want it. I'm just gonna make sure it gets done. Whatever he's tasked with. But I said from the beginning that that EMC, I didn't think was gonna be able to fit into what he was doing as far as the health and safety. I'm gonna take deputy completely out of it because he handles his health and safety first and foremost. That's what he was hired to do. But he still don't have a whole lot of time to do EMC duties, you know? I mean, but to me, an EMC needs to be doing our grant work, and I mean all of it, everybody's, you know? They're constantly in training, they're constantly making sure that stuff is ready with, in coordination with EMS, fire departments, sheriff's, law enforcement. There's so much they can do. The EMC over in Limestone County actually is the head of their dispatch. He's the one who is over that, to telecommunications, all of that. So it just depends on what you guys want an EMC to do. Because there's a whole lot they can do, and it's too much for somebody, as far as I'm concerned, and him, because we've had discussions, but I've still got him in training. But as far as him doing that health and safety office job like it's supposed to be done, and then taking on that EMC at the same time, that's a lot.
Who is this gal we got from?
That's Jason McGee, the one that came up here and talked to y'all about all the dumping and, yes,
And what's he in training for?
EMC, emergency management.
That's what he's still going to training for.
He takes courses as they come available. Matter of fact, we're signed up, I think there's 6 of us signed up for one at the end of September. Yeah. So, but, I mean, there's like 19 courses, 21 courses that guy has to have. So, we're probably on number 6 or 7.
Is the emergency management person supposed to be under your direction? Aren't you the county's executive emergency management person?
Probably officially, but
That person's supposed to work under the county judge or under the person that's been. I think that's what the law states, and that's what I read. I read it.
probably agree to do this, but it does.
Might be a good idea.
Well, so what are we gonna do then?
I mean, he needs to either be emergency management and health and safety, or he needs to be a deputy, one or the other. I mean, that's the bottom line. Either he needs to do what we want him to do, or he needs to do what he wants to do.
Well, he's doing the health and safety stuff under me.
He has to have a police officer's license to do that. Health and safety,
The health and safety?
or no?
As far as to enforce the law and write warrants, yes. But you can have a health and safety that doesn't do that at all, and he'll just take a deputy from us to do it. So, I mean, to me, you might as well have a law enforcement license so you can handle it yourself. Why involve two people when it only takes one?
And he has to be a license. You have to carry his license for that. is that
Yes.
right? Well, let's look at it. I'll read it and then we'll come back to that. Okay?
Okay.
Jim, we consider him a 207K employee under you, is that correct?
What's that?
Yes.
Because
Yeah, the 86 hour.
Bill wasn't, but
Yeah.
we're considering that
There's a whole
the
lot.
207K. Under Jeremy, we were considering him a 207K law enforcement deputy, which means the 86 hours in a 14-day period. I just want to verify that,
Oh, okay.
because Bill was not, so.
All right.
So what kind of total is McGee's salary coming out of now?
It was coming out of county services, which is 631. And that was the question, as to where that salary is gonna stay. Right now we have part of Steve's salary under 631, because he does 911 and septic inspections. And then
And Judge, with the new salary budget sheet that I did for you, I did put McGee under the sheriff's department. So with the new one, the new budget going in, his would be under 570. If that's the way you wanted it, that's the way I changed the sheet.
we'll look at that. Thank you. All right, for county services, we have, I know Lydia is paid under that, is that right? Who else is paid out of county services?
So Steve
Steve, it used to be Bill Madden.
and Lydia.
And Lydia. And we did have under 631, the part-time EMC, didn't we?
And Lydia might be coming out of the courthouse, I need to check.
670 or 640. But did we have the emergency management part-time out of county services?
I believe that's correct, I can go down and check it.
EMC, okay.
Mr. Newsom comes out of there.
I'm sorry, what?
Mr. Newsom comes out, this out,
Yes,
Mr.
it
Newsom.
does, part-time.
on time and
Correct.
wants to rate, I
Newsom, and EMC,
wants to.
and a raise. And, yes, okay, that's right. So the EMC was part-time out there, and Mr. Newsom, and then Steve is a salary person under there. And Bill Matty used to be in there. Yes, due transfers there, okay. Now, last year we had capital outlay, but that was, see, that was a grant for that truck that we got, so we don't have that this year.
Since you mentioned that, there's a good possibility, I got a call from Hot Cop that we, depending on whether the city was able to spend the money they allowed for them, we may be getting another $4,400 on that. So, to go towards the truck or to pay that, but we don't know for sure, they'll know by the, first of the next month.
Good, you take for
632 is indigent health care.
We didn't get that.
That's inmates and then other indigents within the county. We didn't have any this year. We can go up to 30,000 to have to pay on an individual.
That's
But
correct.
we did not have any
And I
indigent.
do have 4 applications right now that are pending.
Oh.
So,
All right. And that lease is for that program, $1,000 a month. All right, 640. Now, 640 under purchase services was that fiber optic. Have we gotten any more information on how expensive that might be? I know I saw one that was about 11.
yeah, so I had another gentleman come down and look at it, but I've not received a quote from him yet.
Okay.
So you put 25 in it for it? Right?
Let me see what else I've got on here. Just a sec. Now, also under purchase services, that fiber optic is just one thing. Isn't that where we pay mowing? Under 640 purchase services? So if well, we may have to look at increase that a little bit then. Because that fiber optic is more than that. You also see on that 640 from this year, that we spent 167,000, but that was COVID money that ran through there, so we don't have that anymore. Nothing there, we've already talked about 642, the jail. Now the veterans officer, he is going to be working 25 hours a week. Is that correct? No, what was figured? And so,
You believe that, it hadn't changed, I haven't talked with him since.
okay, all right. And I think he's doing a really good job. He also is an umpire, if that makes any difference. We may need one up here, who knows? Oh, that's it. We've already talked about the jail. Veterans officer. Child advocacy. Now that may go away, those utilities, if we do that fiber optic thing. But for right now, are you going to break theirs out, or should I take that off?
Just depends on if we can get it done.
It's on our same, even
Right.
right now, it's on our same system, is it? No, it's a separate phone bill.
It is a separate phone
Okay,
bill.
so until we decide, we need to
Right.
have that budgeted.
That's right.
Okay, okay. And then 670 is non-departmental. And we have libraries and the museums that are not on here, we have to determine there. I did change that, transfers to 45. Insurance did go up, and that shows, the increase shows there. Increased unemployment insurance. I think under 670, 650, that other expense, I can't remember what that was, but that was kind of a one-time thing. That might have been COVID money that went into that too. Because as you can see, it wasn't that much before.
What is it?
650, other expense. I think that may have been like COVID money that went to
Oh,
Fairfield, school
Schools.
thing and various things, yeah. But anyway, we don't have that, not gonna have that another time. And then the Central Appraisal District, 680, it went up to 307,976. Then the ambulance service. Right now I have what our normal contribution has been. So think about that and see if we want to change those amounts. Look at 700 fire prevention. For the fire departments, we have grant match of 20,000. And then capital outlay at the bottom, 50,000. And then other expense. And that capital outlay possibly be the rescue boat and the motor. We don't know if it's gonna come in. Have they got the boat already?
Not that I know of.
We may get it this year, we may not. Maybe October.
I think they said they would get the boat like December, or the boat, but not the motor. The motor will be here in December.
For sure.
Is that right?
Let's go get the vote first.
Yes.
Motor is gonna take long.
Right.
But September, we may come in October, so.
They got it, the fire, they just need to go, either go get it,
Oh, okay.
they either need to go get it, because it's there. I talked to the lady. They either need to go get it, or we need a budget for both of them,
Okay.
so.
We can find out from them what they're gonna do, and we might change that. All right, senior services, they are asking for, she's got a little printout. Asking for a change in Rachel Watley's job, from clerk to clerk 1, and increase in part-time.
Food going up,
Pardon?
and the food is going up.
It is. All right. We have to start here. Hope y'all will review these, and then we're gonna meet again Friday. talk about changes. Once y'all have a chance to look at all of this. Also, we'll be talking about, hopefully we'll have something from the tax office, if you get your information. And then we can look at whether or not we're going to do what we're looking at tax rate. If we're going to do any kind of an increase for employees, and then we'll set our dates for the next hearing.
That tax rate right now, 4.9.
Oh, it's 30.
39.
39375.
Yeah, 39,375.
393.
Um,
I was gonna say 4.
Judge, can we, I haven't even talked to Linda on this, I know she has, or I think she does. As far as our citations, our charges that we do for citations and writs.
Yes, usually you have that showing what, the statement of fees.
Sheriff's fees. I've called and asked them about if there's any changes. I've talked to Constable 1, I've left messages with the other 3 constables and haven't heard from them to see if anything is supposed to be changed.
Okay, so you need to get her.
I have-
If you want to change anything.
Yes, I'll get with you because I have some.
And then you put it on the agenda. Does that have to be approved?
I mean, September, I believe it is, I asked Beth to, a certain date to put it on, I don't know off the top of my head, but I've
Okay,
already
so
got
we've
it.
got a little bit of time.
Yes.
But anyway, yes, thank you. All right. Anything else? If not, we have a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.